I'm going to try this on Google Chrome, see if that will work without those annoying pop-ups. Probably won't, but we'll see. So anyway, as I said, this is a landing page. Blah blah blah. Put in here to register, and you'll be able to access these pages. Right, these are the frequently asked questions. How long is each season? It's 3 months. What age can a horse retire? It's from age 4. From what age can a horse breed? That's also from age 4. How long does a horse live for? When a horse reaches 10, there is a chance it could die, and that increases each season after. And how long can a horse race for? Well, the answer is a horse can race until it dies. There is no mandatory retirement age, though I will build in a redundancy which will make their ability decline proportionately each season after age 7. Right, back to the news. Site construction started last year, January. It was supposed to finish this year, January, but because I didn't work on it for about 4 months, we're well behind now. Started again in January, previous today, and I will put it online. Wherever it's at, I will put it online on next week. Right. On here we also have the game rules. There's not many of them. 1. No multi-stables allowed. 1 stable per player only. No rude, lewd or obscene names allowed. No obscenities allowed on the forums. No threatening or bullying language allowed on the forums. Sanctions include warnings, suspensions and termination of account. Also on here we have the player guide. Horses can be purchased from the sales ring, claimers, auction or breeding. The only thing that's set up at the moment is the sales ring. Claimers are not set up, auctions not set up, breeding's not set up. Now, equipment. All new horses come with shoes, blinkers, tongue tie and cheek pieces. These expire after 60 days and can then be renewed as required. Now the shoes are always positive, everything else can be positive, negative or neutral. Vitamins will restore up to 50% of a horse's fitness but will not exceed 100% of the fitness level. Gelding can be positive or neutral but never negative. Now the training is used to find the going and distance preferences as well as the preferred equipment, and horses will only improve on a going that they are regularly trained on. The maturity. Horses will mature randomly in chunks of 10% growth. There is no automatic growth at age change. Now, XP is something new and it stands for experience. This will grow after a set number of races. Quicker growth can be achieved in higher grade races. Also, horses will also have the option to be schooled. This will take 10 days and the horse will not be eligible to race during this period. And we have the heart. And this is a measure of how hard a horse will try in a race and has no impact on breeding potential. Races. There will be a wide range of races available. Progression for top horses should be maiden qualifiers finals. Middle of the road horses can go maiden. Novice, which is 0 to 3 wins. Graduation 3 to 6 wins. A division 6 to 9. B division 9 to 12. And C division 12 plus wins. I don't like this when you horse gets to like 9 wins and there's no races for it, so I want to have a wider range. Average support horses can go maiden, claimers, allowance, but this is all up to the individual trainer. Finals will take place 1 week before the season ends. World Challenge Day races, which are weight for age, will take place on the last day of the season. There are no penalties for open races, including qualifiers and finals. There is a £2 penalty for each win above the minimum requirement for all others. Weight for age races will have weight allowances as follows: a 4 plus 1110, a 3-year-old 11.6, 2-year-old 11 stones. Those are just a baseline to start from. Obviously I'm going to have to do some testing to see how that equates, if it sort of evens things out or not. I will also have handicap racing, and these races will run alongside open races and will include end of season finals for which nomination will be required. Each win will incur a £3 penalty, a place will incur a £1 penalty, and an unplaced -£2. Wins in open races will count for handicap penalties. Maiden wins do not count for penalty purposes. All races require a minimum of 6 entrants from 3 different stables. The maximum number of entrants in a race is 16. The maximum number of entrants from the same stable in one race, excluding finals, is 3. The maximum number of entrants in a final from one stable is 4. Now we go to the payouts. 6, 7 or 8 runner races pay 3 places, win 60%, second 25%, third 15%. 9 plus runner races pay 4 places, win 50%, second 25%, third 15%, fourth 10%. Qualifiers and finals pay 4 places. Side fees. All payouts are subject to a 10% jockey fee. Claimants and auction purchasers are subject to a 10% handling fee, and there is a non-refundable £1 fee for each auction listing. There are no stabling fees, which means that there's currently no limit to how many horses a stable can have. And the cost of races are cash-only entrance fees. Horses and equipment can be purchased wholly with cash or 50-50 with bonus credits. There's also a premium feature. When active, this will provide more detailed information about your horse, including stable-top training and race times, and will also be needed for breeding evaluation purposes. So that's all the guff out of the way. One other thing on here is track facts. There are 8 different tracks which racing will take place, and they're all slightly different. Some are similar to each other, and these are the tracks and their characteristics, basically. Right, so let's get back to logging in. You're not logged in, Alright, so you come to the site now, and you can't log in because you're not registered, so you have to register. So we'll create an account. Memory here. So you won't get that because you've never done this before. Let's create an account. Let's use this one. This doesn't happen on Google. All of this nonsense doesn't come up. Chrome is trying to use my saved passwords. And register. Alright, you still have to log in once you're registered. When you log in, you get your stable page. It will tell you how many of each equipment you got in stock. Stable stats, upcoming entries, earnings, horses bred, horses purchased, and you get your 3 free horses. So, let's see where to go now. Let's go to the shop. Here you can buy whatever you want, buy a couple of bits and pieces, buy a couple of horses, but just remember you won't be able to actually buy anything because you have insufficient funds to make this purchase. So I need to go and put some money in, like say he's made a deposit. And here we go with this madness. And even though I'm not on, jeez. Even though I'm not on Google Chrome, Google Chrome is still doing this to me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. Edit. Right, so even though there's only three characters in the passcode, this is the hash passcode that's generated so that you know that no one will ever be able to get in there. Right. Give him some money so he's made a deposit. £100. Give him £20 bonus credits. That's done. Right. Let's try again. Buy a couple of bits. Buy one of everything and check out. And this is just to show you that it's been calculated correctly. You're paying the right amount. So if you go back to your horses, you then get your list of equipment, you get your extra horses that you've just bought. So let's go to the horse and you get all this information here. This is the going, jewelry, fitness, XP, all of this. So you want to change the horse's name first of all. Let's call it, I don't know. Since it's a grey, call it Desert Orchid. I like to put them in capitals. I'm going to have to do it so that it automatically puts it in capitals. Change name. You don't need to do that again, it's already done, you'll find all this there. Well, as long as it hasn't had a race, you'll still have this option to change the name. So, what do we want to do? Let's check the equipment. The shoes are, as I say, the shoes are always positive, so they're applied straight away. You can add the blinkers. You can remove them, blinkers removed. Let's go back to train. Let's do a training run. Alright, the training run's all put in here, the time, the fitness, the equipment. Let's go back, put the blinkers on, and train again and see what that gives you. An error. Right, this was something I needed to mention. Now, for some reason, and I don't know what the reason is, I've looked and I can't find it. Even though the time should be around about this, for some reason the program tries to put a time of 12 minutes something in there, and that obviously is not going to make any sense. So because I can't track down what that bug is, or what I've told it to, if it's going to write 12 minutes and odd to give you this message instead, and you'd have to train it again. Alright, shoes and blinkers. The time's a little bit quicker, so maybe it wants blinkers. But there is quite a big swing in the training random, so you can't be certain. So let's take the blinkers off, and we'll put the tongue tie on. No, we won't put the tongue tie on actually. We'll put the cheek pieces on and train it again. 22:46. It didn't seem to like that by the looks of it. But like I say, you can't be certain. Massive training random. Now to find, we'll put the tongue tie on and train it. For 22:58. Obviously, that time doesn't really tell you anything, especially not for the tongue tie, because it's only concerned with the stamina. So we'll do a public work and see what happens. 32%. That's his fitness level, 32%, which says to me that have to train it again to find whether the tongue tie is wanted or not. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to demonstrate the vitamins, the use of the vitamins, because I'll have to keep training and training to get it back up to 100%. You can't public work really. Right, the vitamins have been used. Let's go back to train and see where it is. 99%, because it used 50% of the vitamins, which would have put it on 82, and then it got 17% for whatever. Now, what you can do is if you want to race a horse and it's not fit, like, you can use the vitamins and it will bring it to 100% fit. Let me just go to there. You'll see that its fitness is at 100%. It won't go over 100%. So what we need to do now, we need to train it again, public work. And see where it goes. This one is not fit for public work. Okay. Right, now it's fit for public work. 32%. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm losing my mind. I need to train it without the tongue tie to find out. God, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, well, let me apply vitamins again. Okay, fair enough. Let's get it back up fit. Take the tongue tie off and see what it trains at. 2 mile firm public work. 32. So it doesn't gain or it doesn't lose, so the tongue tie is irrelevant. Alright, anyway, that's the training. What else can we do? Oh, we need to set the race preferences. So, 2 miles. Give it 2.25 as well, and maybe good as well. And we should see what races are available for it. This is the races that the horse is eligible to enter. They're all 2-year-old races. What we can do as well, we can see all the races that are listed, and we can see all the horses that are entered in them. This will give every race that's listed on upcoming races. But for this horse, these are the races that it can run in. So we can enter in a race. It'll tell you name of the race, entry fee, blah 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 blah. Tell you that it's entered. If you try and run a horse in a race, you should get an error message. Horse name is not suitable. No, I don't want to reset the form. So let's change his name. Put it in a race. Nothing. Set a race preference. Right, that's entered. You should also be able to access future races. You can see which horses are entered. They're both entered in the same race. And these are all the horses that are entered in the race. In this same race. But if what this depends on is what you see depends on whether the status of the race. As the race is open, you won't see all the horses. You would only see this one, because these two that are in his stable, you wouldn't wouldn't see these if the race was open. Once the race is closed, that's when you see all the entrants. I can see an error there. Who is this? Oh, this is, no, it's not an error. My mistake. Alright, this will show you the horse's training records. You can see everything, all his training, what equipment it's used, stamina, blah blah blah. When they were done. Recent races, there won't be anything there, obviously. Future races is listed. Event history. Born this time, blah blah blah. Let me just try and change the race status so that it will say that the race has been run. Open, which one was it? It's the claiming hurdle. Just want to see if we can get a result from that race. Say the race has been run. Obviously I won't have to type this in automatically, it'll be done on I suppose task scheduler to say what time, when the time is due for the race, that it's set to from open to close and then to run. Can you imagine trying to do this for every race on the card? So that's going to be programmed to run at set times. Hopefully. I should see something in recent races. No. That was working yesterday, but it don't seem to be working today. I'll have to have a look at that later. But anyway, what would happen is that it would just show you the finishing positions of each horse. Not sure why that's not working at the moment. It was working yesterday. Maybe I haven't set all the races to run, I don't know. From open or closed. I missed one out. what we also we've got a note section here, blah blah blah. You can write it, but it doesn't actually save anything at the moment. When you come back, it's gone. I need to fix that so that will save it. What else? Premium features. Let me just take that to not required, and I'll show you what you get from that. Right, so here you get a lot more information about the horse. You can see its grade. There are 4 grades, A, B, C, D in that order, but there's also a 5th grade, which is it's like a rare grade. It's called grade S, and the grade S stands for superior. So what will happen with a grade S, I'm not saying that they're going to be monsters. I don't want any monsters in the game, to be honest. But what will happen is they'll get a little boost. If they're a racer, they'll get a little boost to their racing ability. If they're a breeder, they get a little boost to their breeding ability. Every horse is set at birth, whether it's a racer, a breeder, a racer and a breeder, or neither a racer nor a breeder. That's all set when the horse is created, but that's not something you will ever see. So that's the 4 grades, and it's one special grade, and you only get that grade from the sales ring. You can't breed a superior horse. And a confirmation is average. A confirmation that gives you a clue to how often a horse can run. A horse with excellent confirmation would probably be able to run every other day or whatever, and a horse with poor confirmation maybe once a week, something like that. Athleticism is basically, because it's a jump race inside, it's how well a horse will jump. You've got the height and you've got the balance. You'll also need that premium feature to get to be able to do evaluations for the breeding. That's about it. Once you can get the race results, then you can go online and just test it out, test out all the features out, see how they work. The other thing, it's a pity that I can't get that race result, because I was working on that yesterday and I did have it, and now it's not there. Which is a shame. Not sure why it's not there. I did have it yesterday. You can see I've been busy and buying stuff. How many horses? 155. That's just made up that ratio just to see that it works. Get all that information. Future races, don't have any. Recent races, nothing. One thing I don't have coded is I don't have the ability to stop a horse being entered twice in the same race at the moment. I've got to do some work on that. I can stop it I can make it just allowed to be entered in one race at a time, and can't be entered again until that race is run. But I'm not really happy with that. I would like it to be able to enter as many races as it likes, but not be able to enter the same race twice, which at the moment it can, which is not good. These and you can see here it has been entered in this is quite interesting because will tell you that these horses were suited to that race conditions and these two weren't. But that's so these are 2 milers. 419. This looks like a middle distance, and this looks like a stayer judged on those times. The horses on here they could run from 2 miles to 3.25 miles. So you have basically the equivalent of sprinters, classics, and stayers. And see, this is like over a second slower, and this is over 2 seconds slower. So that's a classic, that's a stayer, and those 2 milers. Now, this result actually it only takes into account the trip and the going. Don't take anything else into the account. That's what I'm working on at the moment because there are a lot of other things you have to be able to put the ads in to calculate the ads. But also the horses all have hidden secrets. They all have these little secrets that they're keeping, and you need to find what those secrets are. If you find them out, then you'll be able to optimize that horse's racing potential, and they have quite a few hidden things that would change how they would run in a race and what times they would run. I mean, there are things that are not hidden. Ground growth will improve their times, experience will improve their times, maturity will improve their times. But there are other things that are hidden. Like I say, every horse has its little secrets that have to be discovered to get the best out of them. So, what's left to do? A lot. One thing we have to do, we have to code. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to code the ground growth so that the times will improve with each chunk of growth. Then I have to look at coding the maturity growth. That could be done with a task scheduler, or I can do it manually for every horse on the site at a certain given periods. I'm not sure which way to go with that at the moment. Then I've got this to code that make it save whatever you put in there. Claimers have to be coded. They're not coded, won't do anything. And auction has to be coded. And the last thing I'm going to look at is the breeding. Now, one thing I want to just clarify about the breeding: when you do a breeding evaluation, it's not going to give these wild A plus, B minus, C plus, and all this. It's just going to give A, B, C, or D. And it doesn't mean if your horse gets an A, you're likely to get an A. It just means that is the best possible outcome from that pairing. It doesn't mean you're going to get, you could be an A and you could get a D or C, whatever. It doesn't mean that's what you're likely to get, just that that is the best possible outcome from those pairings. That's how I'm going to do the breeding. Trying to think if there's anything else I've missed out. I mean, these will be updated as the horse runs, blah blah blah, earnings, wins, place. Ideally, this coloration, if I could change that's not always going to be easy to see. It's clear enough at the moment, so I'll leave it as it is. So basically, we have the ability to buy your horses, enter your horses, and race your horses, which is the basics of what you need to get started. And that's all done. It's just a matter of putting the finishing touches. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be really difficult, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort. But we'll carry on. And that is where we are at the moment. I think I've been over everything. horses, it's not a straightforward thing where you just determine the horse's going, the horse's trip, the horse's ad, and then you just sit down and race day after day, whatever. You have to analyze the horse's performances. You seriously have to analyze their performances to work out what are their little secrets that they're keeping. And there is no random as such. But having said that, so that means basically same conditions, the horse should run pretty much the same time, almost identical over the same conditions. Same, assuming that it hasn't grown or anything. But I do think that maybe I want to put just a small, tiny random because these are supposed to represent horses, animals, not machines that they're going to run to the same time every time. But just a tiny, tiny thing, little random, so that there'll be a slight difference, and you could have a slight. If the race is very tight, very close, you're not going to have the same result every time. There could be a difference. You've beaten ahead, it can switch the other way next time. I think that would be good to have that in there. So that's something else I'm going to add. Claimers and auctions have not been done. The shop's done. You can do anything you want here. I was originally going to make the equipment purchasable by just bonus credits, and the horses cash and bonus credits, but there was a slight problem. Didn't really work out, so I just made everything 50%, and then I changed the specifications because instead I was originally going to say that the horses, when you buy them, they didn't come with any equipment, and you had to buy the equipment with these bonus credits, and they expired every 30 days. But instead, to compensate for the fact that it's 50-50 cash and bonus credits, I've said that all the horses, when they're born, they'll come with all of the equipment, and they'll only expire after 60 days instead of 30. Like I said, at the moment there's no quota on how many horses you can have in a stable, and there's no stabling fee, so you're free to have as many as you like, basically. Vitamins can only be used once a week. I'm not sure if that's correctly coded yet, but we'll look at that. All the shoes are always positive. The shoes will never be negative. The only reason you would ever want to remove the shoes is if you're running in a handicap race and you didn't want a horse to win. I don't think I will allow horses to run if they are not 100% fit. And in handicap racing there won't be any extra loss of weight based on how far a horse is beaten. I'm not going down that road. It will just be win, you gain points, place, you gain a point, and unplace, you lose a couple of pounds. Like I said, I'm really keen to do the weight for age races, that World Challenge Day that we used to have on race clubs, which I thought were really good. But obviously I'm going to have to do some experimenting to see what the weights need to be to give everything a fair chance in that. I need to code some handicap races and test that out, but there's so much to do at the moment. At the moment I'm still working on getting the results and taking everything into consideration that needs to be taken into consideration, basically all the variables to get the result, because you would get a totally different result if everything was taken into consideration. I don't know where I got that. I don't know where I got the results from before. Totally lost now. Here. So like I say, I'll be interested to see, firstly, when you put all the ads correctly, what the result becomes, and then when you add all the rest of the stuff into the equation, what the result becomes. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And like I say, I do intend to put it online a week from today, and I'll be very happy to get as many people as possible to register and test it out with me. I would like that done as soon as it's gone online, because I want to disable the registration. I don't want any Tom, Dick and Harry joining. Just want a slot to test it out. So that's where we're at. I think, as far as I can guess, I think I've covered just about